tech enthusiasts. It's August 31, the last day of this month, and I'm excited to record this month Cloud Native Explainer. I will explore all the latest trend and key topics, especially around Wasm and some of the DevOps space and everything that sparked our curiosity or your curiosity quite recently. So I have actually joined by today Shivay Lamba, and I hope I'm pronouncing his name correctly. He is an open source enthusiast and also a software developer specializing in DevOps, machine learning, and full stack development, and has been part of various programs like Google Cloud and Google Summer of Code. As a mentor, he is currently a MLH fellow. He also worked at organizations like Amazon, EY, Genpact, and he is a TensorFlow.js SIG member and a community lead from India. Thank you very much, Shivai. I hope I cover most of it. If I miss, do actually like to call upon where you actually been recently busy.
No, absolutely. Thank you so much, Sam. I really appreciate you inviting me over on this particular series. I've been following it and super excited that what you're doing for the Cloud Native community. Of course, like both of us are also the Cloud Native Computing Foundation CNCF ambassadors. In fact, like this was like when I got accepted into the program, I had already applied like 4 times before that. So I'm super excited, and like this journey has been great because each and every CNCF ambassador is really amazing. Of course, the entire cloud native community itself is really welcoming. So I'm super excited to be sharing some of my personal experiences today with all of you.
Awesome, absolutely. And guys, if you actually have not seen some of the talks around Wasm from Shivai, you missed some of the best content. It's been one of the great topic he covered quite recently. And I hope if you're watching this from YouTube, the link is actually added in your screen somewhere bottom below. So Shivai, first thing question for you, because this is a monthly explainer. Can you briefly tell us what caught your attention this month and what make you busy this month?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the things that I was working on this month was for my presentation at Cube Day Japan. So of course, as you might know, that Cube Days are these one-day conferences, which are a bit kind of a smaller version of KubeCons. So my presentation was around how you can efficiently deploy machine learning applications, especially like large language models on Kubernetes, specifically with the help of technologies like dynamic resource allocation, which are actually a feature of Kubernetes itself. It has been an experimental feature ever since the version of Kubernetes 1.26. And essentially, in a nutshell, just to kind of explain what it does is that when you have very large machine learning pipelines, you are required to use a number of different GPUs inside of your Kubernetes cluster. So the DRA allows you to efficiently manage your Kubernetes clusters based on the load and based on how many GPUs you actually need. Because a lot of times what might happen is that you might come across situations where you're not utilizing your GPU clusters towards their full potential, and that can really just raise the cost. So it's more around the dynamic allocation of these GPUs based on your machine learning workload, which makes it much more efficient to be able to do your deployments. So that was one of the things that I was focusing on. And apart from that, for my upcoming talk at KubeCon, which will be in North America, I'm actually working on getting one of the models, like very popular models like YOLO, which is a object detection model to be actually be able to run on Kubernetes with the help of Wasm, which is a WebAssembly runtime. So that's something that I'm doing as part of my presentation. So experimenting with adding support for it. It's again like going well, and hopefully I should be able to get that sorted because machine learning on Kubernetes on Edge is really great because you can use WebAssembly, which is a unified runtime, and now you don't have to worry about the architecture of the device or the particular device on which you're actually trying to run a machine learning model, because WebAssembly runs everywhere the same way. So those are the couple of things in the cloud native space that I'm currently working on, but super excited. Like they are definitely cutting edge stuff, and I cannot wait to share more about them.
Yes, absolutely. And if you're listening from the YouTube and you this make you excited, these are the links actually added somewhere on your screen. Make sure you click it and do know where the Shiva actually busy on the rest of the month as well. So Shiva, you actually spoke about your some conference. I think the KubeCon, you have some talk there. So is it a co-located event or is it a main KubeCon event? Can you briefly tell us a little bit?
Yes, absolutely. So I have a couple of events. Both are part of the main conference. So one is a conference talk around, of course, cloud native AI on edge, or talking about like how you can run AI workloads on edge on Kubernetes, of course, with the help of WebAssembly. And the second one is actually I'm going to be part of the Contrib Fest for Meshery. So of course, Sam, we were discussing about about layer 5 and the service mesh community. So actually I'll be giving a talk with Lee Calcott from the layer 5 community at the Contra Fest for KubeCon North America.
Awesome. That's super great to hear. And that's actually is a good story and people should love to listen about as well because back in 2020 and I think 2021, we were both actively involved with the Layer 5 community thanks to Lee Kolkote extra support. So can you share with my listeners what sparked your interest in moving from the service mesh space to exploring the world of Wasm?
Yeah, absolutely. So as you very rightly mentioned that in 2020, when I joined the community for layer 5 in January of 2020, I had absolutely no idea about anything related to cloud native. Like I had done a bunch of CI/CD with Jenkins, but I had absolutely no idea regarding Docker Kubernetes. And that is like the first time when I was actually proactively looking for making contributions to Google Summer of Code. And I came across the community, and immediately what I really loved was that and now we have a formal program for this called as the layer 5 MeshMate program, which I'm a part of, which allows anyone who is new to the community to get one-on-one mentorship in order to make contributions. And I was on the receiving end of that particular mentorship, through which I got to know about Docker. I was able to understand the concepts of Kubernetes, and I made my first couple of pull requests inside of the Meshery project. And ultimately, like during that year, I became a not directly a student, but I became a mentor directly, because it was like between me and another regular contributor, Kush, who is also amazing person in open source. Definitely follow him. So both of us actually kind of worked together on our Meshery project, which is like more around the service mesh interface, like the SMI. So that was a great experience for me. But what really motivated me within the Meshery community also was the Wasm based filters. So typically inside of a service mesh, if you are specifically working with adding different kind of function calls, you can use WebAssembly because that provides you unified interface, where you can essentially compile a function written in any language, and then you can run it inside of Istio, or as an Envoy based filter. And given that it's WebAssembly, it can run on any kind of workload. So that is the Wasm based filters was the like kind of portion that was really kind of exciting for me. And then I decided to dive deeper into WebAssembly, because I had previously worked with WebAssembly on the browser with the TensorFlow JS project. So I thought that I really love using it over there. I had built an entire in-browser video editor using FFmpeg and WebAssembly. So, my experience with WebAssembly over the past during 2019, 2020 had been primarily around like the browser. And I said that, okay, like this is a good space because it's still kind of new in the cloud native space. So I can definitely give my time and try to build on top of it. And that's where I got then introduced to Wasm, which is a WebAssembly runtime, kind of in mid of 2021. And I started to contribute to Wasm, started to, give talks, write some blogs around, and just, started to give more education around why cloud native WebAssembly is the future. And especially like when it comes to being able to actually run machine learning workloads on inside of containers, why that is actually a bit slower. And with WebAssembly, you can see like 10 times faster results for inference. So that's where I decided to kind of give more of the time. And pretty much like in the last 2 to 3 years, I've been focusing on cloud native WebAssembly and cloud native machine learning with the help of WebAssembly. So that is the primary reason, because I had interest for machine learning. I had interest for growing interest for cloud, and I felt like WebAssembly kind of brought all of them together and in a kind of a cohesive manner. So that is the reason. And then ever since then, I have been part of the cloud native WebAssembly ecosystem. So I'm part of the working group. I'm a Wasm ambassador, although it's not like an official role, but primarily just helping the WebAssembly Wasm project with the Google season of docs, Google summer of code, helping out the mentees with those programs in order to kind of get started with the WebAssembly Wasm project. So yeah, that's pretty much like what I've been doing.
Yes, absolutely. And I think, folks, there are some wonderful talks Shivay also have given on these topic. And I think he made a wonderful bet way back in 2021, because if you look at the Wasm today, it's really shiny. Fermion Tech, bunch of other companies are doing incredible work, lifting the community and building new solution on the WebAssembly as well. And Shivay is your go-to person, because in our community, they are very much like they have a service mesh experience, and Service Mesh actually sprinkle on top of Docker and Kubernetes. And he has also a Wasm experience as well. And if you wanted to learn how to comparison between two container technology and the Wasm technology, Shivay is a wonderful person to hang out, chat about, share objective, where actually we are heading towards to, what recently actually came up. So he's a go-to person to actually check out. And I will include the link of his talk and some of the blogs and some of the things he actually spoke about. So thank you very much, Shivay, actually joining us and sharing your monthly journey on my YouTube channel. So before I let you go, one question for you. Coming few months, or closing down the year, are you a kubectl edit, kubectl update, kubectl delete, or kubectl apply?
I would say I'm a kubectl apply.
Oh, great. Wonderful. Wonderful. I look
Yes,
forward to some of your more recent work coming out of this space. So before I let you go, the final, can you
absolutely.
actually describe, or in a 30 to 20 seconds, how you actually can tell people so where they can actually find you and talk about and to meet you and talk with you?
Absolutely. So I'm super active on my Twitter. My Twitter handle is @howdevelop. And if you're also on the Cloud Native Slack, I'm fairly active. I check it like a couple of days, sorry, a couple of times a day. So feel free to reach out to me on either on Twitter or on the CNCF Slack. Like I'll be able to respond to you.